Dan Perry here with another Dan on Tech Python video. Now let's look at the print function. And the print function is used probably more than anything else in Python other than math operations. And the print function is print, and then in parentheses you've got something. If you were using Python 2, the print function works a little bit differently and is not truly a function as such. We're going to stick with the Python 3 way of doing things because the Python 2 way is deprecated. If you happen to be working in the Python 2, you're going to need to look up and see the way things work. So in its simplest form, it's print and then the name of a variable. You can have multiple variables or strings or combinations separated by commas, and you can print just a string. So let's look at a couple of those first. So here I'll say print, and then in parentheses I'll do say 4 comma 5.3, separate by commas. Now it doesn't matter after the comma whether I space or not. And let's go ahead and put a string in here. I can use single or double quotes. And I'm going to mess up. I'm going to forget to close my quote. And go ahead and close my parentheses. Notice my color coding says there's something wrong, but if I don't know that, when I hit enter, I'm going to get an error message. The error messages aren't always the best at telling you what's going on, but after a while you get to learn them. This is a syntax error. Syntax error means the command structure, the way I typed the command in, was incorrect. So let me go ahead and copy that, paste it in, work smart, copy and paste when you can. I put that closing apostrophe or quote, and now my color coding is right. If I had paid attention before, I would have known something's wrong. And it printed a 4, a 5.3, and the word string because that was what was the string inside the quotes. Now, if I want to have any spaces in the string, if I put any spaces in here, anything inside the quotes will be spaced out. Those spaces are printed. However, if I put spaces outside the quotes, it doesn't change anything. White space or spaces outside the quotes don't really matter. It's only inside the quotes that matter. So there is, in our simplest form, the formatting. Now we can get more complex, and we will. Inside of the quotes, in a string portion, inside quotes, inside the parentheses, if you use curly brackets, the curly braces, you can use those as holding places for a variable or a constant. And you can put or insert a variable each place there is those curly brackets. The basic structure is print, and in parentheses, in quotes, your string, and as placeholders for those variables or constants, you put the curly brackets. You can have as many of those as you need. We'll find too, if we want to change the order, if you don't put it, just put the brackets, it's in the order the variables appear, but we can use a number, a positional number, say the first, which is position 0, the second variable, in that print, and we can even output those values multiple times. So let's go ahead and look at an example of that. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to again use this copy. So I'm going to go ahead and modify this one, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of part of it, and I'm going to say the first number is, and I'm going to put curly braces, and the second is. Now, the syntax or the sentence structure is dot format, and in parentheses, I'm going to just put two numbers. I'm going to put 4, comma 5.7. And now I have to have a closed parentheses for every open one. Very common mistake. If I forgot this second parentheses, I would get a syntax error. So when I run it, it comes in, it says the first number is, and it inserted the 4 because that was the first number over in my format. But notice the is and 4 are right together because I did not put a space between the S and is and the curly brackets. I did put a space before the 5.7, so there's a space there. So I'm going to come back here and copy this. And I'm going to fix it, put the space in. And now you'll see there is a space between it. So right now spacing inside the quotes happen exactly as they occur in the quotes. That's using constants. And I could even have a string here. And I would have to put it in apostrophes. Actually, come in here and paste and replace the 5.7 with 3. And it would put the word in. Here again, when I pasted that, I didn't have the space, but that's okay. And put the string in. So it doesn't matter what type of data is being inserted. Now, let's go one step further. And let's use variables. Let's say x equal 9. Let's say y equals 8.3. And now, again, I'm going to be lazy. Don't retype if you can help it. Put my space in there. I'm going to use x and y. And now it should insert 9 in the first number and 8.3 as the second. And I've got a syntax error, and what I did was I left this apostrophe. So let me copy that and fix it. And if I had looked, my color coding was wrong. I could have told, so I'll get rid of that apostrophe. And now it says the first number is 9 and the second is 8.3. And if I had a string, I could have inserted a string there. Now let's look at a couple of other things with it. I can be positional. So let me copy this again. And if we look from previously, x was first, so it was inserted first. Y was second, it was inserted second. But if I come in here and I say 1 in that first and a 0 here, remember we index and we start counting at 0. Now it should reverse the order. The 8.3 should be first. And it is. Now I can also come in here and I've got my x and y. I could do 1. And my prompt won't be right, but let me go ahead and put another curly bracket here, and I can put 0 here, and I can put a 1 here, and that would allow me to actually reuse or insert by using these positional values, insert that multiple times, and use the same variable, the same identifier more than once, because again, it's based on the position, and when I do that, you can see it says 8.3 and 9. The second is 8.3. Well, we know that's not actually the second, but you can see how using those numbers can insert or can place the variables here, or these could have been constants. I can mix and match. Let's do that. Let's mix and match once. and let's call y a 7 instead of y. And here I've got the 7, so I can use constants and variables, and we're going to see we can actually use names for these as well, but that'll be in another video. This gives us the basics, the beginning of formatting out our print. Now we're going to look at more print formatting as we go, making things look pretty, making things look in nice columns and all, but this will get you started with formatting using the print command. Thank you for watching this Dan on Tech video. Please subscribe to this playlist so you don't miss future videos. Please check out and subscribe to our other Dan on Tech channel playlists.